listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, family? Salute on this fantastic Saturday. This is super late upload of the Narrative Podcast. I start broadcasting a little bit after 10, so unfortunately I didn't hit the record button. So, this is going to be shared back to the social, probably looking like Sunday. It was my goal to record earlier, but anyway, welcome to the Narrative Podcast, weekend edition. Welcome all my family. Welcome all my narrators. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, original people reciprocity, and original positivity. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast, and I am your host, Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast promotes positive reinforcement of original people and original people culture. The Narrative Podcast provides positive frames of reference about original people and original people culture. So having said all that, I'm going to go ahead on and dive right on into the content. How I usually start out with the Narrative Podcast is a brief synopsis of, my platform and everything everything the listening audience needs to be acquainted with to follow my content. But I just did an upload on Thursday, and you should be good. So next weekend we'll try to nail it, but this is Saturday edition, and it's slightly different from the weekday uploads of the Narrative Podcast. And the way they differ is basically I have more destinations on the weekend episode. On the weekend episodes, just a few more sections, as where during the weekday I only have 2 sections. So I got a few more on the weekends. That's basically it. So diving right on into the content. Oh wait, well, I will tell you at least my mission statement before diving into the content. So my mission statement is basically to uplift and edify our people with my platform. The purpose of the Narrative Podcast is to counter the media's negative portrayal of our people and our culture. They intentionally misappropriate our people's images and our likenesses. They vilify our people. They make us look messy, ignorant, unintelligent, violent, and all that. And so what I wanted to do is design a platform where I'm uplifting and edifying our people and providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, accurate frames of reference about our culture, people and the culture, and bring awareness to the listening audience of why it's important to provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, and encourage my listening audience to do the same thing I'm doing with my platform, to provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Because like I said, the media intentionally vilifies us, intentionally misrepresents us, which is all a form of psychological programming and conditioning, basically using propaganda to promote and push their agenda that they have, which is just like total control. But anyway, we can kind of break the cycle by taking control or changing the narrative. Hence the title of my podcast, the Narrative Podcast. So diving on into the first section of the Narrative Podcast. This section is called the highlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. Now, usually I share about 4 to 6 businesses, but today I'm only highlighting one. And what I tend to do, or the purpose of the highlight section in general, is just provide the positive frame of reference about entrepreneurialism, about business ownership. Because as I said, the media intentionally, warps and skews the narrative with the frames of reference that they provide. One would believe it's impossible, for our people to, own their own businesses, or it's highly unlikely for us to be business owners. And then also the very few frames of references that we have about business owners are tainted with degeneracy, because they come to us in the form of scripted reality television shows. And on these scripted reality television shows, they catch our people in ultra rare form. The producers of those type of shows, they're only out for monetary gain. They basically want to get ratings, so they show our people, engaging in lewdness, fighting each other on camera, doing drugs on camera, doing alcohol on camera, having relations on camera, being loud, being messy, and just, really low vibrational. So, we don't get the takeaway of the show, because they the people usually on these shows are business owners, like really successful people earning 5 figures or better a year, and responsible for the well-being of anywhere from tens of thousands to millions of employees under their umbrella, responsible for, feeding families and sending people to school, for their brand, whatever they are. Like if they're an entertainer, if they're a recording artist, or they're a comedian, if they're, whatever they are, why ever they have a television show, or why they're on a scripted reality television show. It's usually because they're like they're a rapper, or they're a singer, or they're an actor, or a comedian, or whatever. But somebody really highly influential that has several businesses under their umbrella. But like I said, that gets drowned out with the messiness and the fighting and all the ratchetness. So that's pretty much why I do the highlight section, is basically to, take the listening audience through the journey of a entrepreneur or a business owner, like how they became a business owner, where they grew up with, or where they grew up at, all the trials and tribulations they had along the way of becoming a successful business owner, how they got their funding, how they came up with their concept, all the important stuff you need to know. Basically, just like their bio. That's what I'm giving the listening audience in the highlight section of, the businesses that I highlight. And the criteria that my selection criteria, how I select the businesses to highlight, of course they're owned and operated by original people. They hire their own, they do some type of philanthropy, some type of giving back to the community. They either pay into a nonprofit organization or have a nonprofit organization. They have a nonprofit organization of their own. And then last but not least, their business aligns up with my theme. And my current running theme is nationally recognized holidays. So, that's kind of why I only have one. Now, like I said, I want to provide you with like really specific details about said business owner, but a lot of the times, like super in-depth information is just not available on the internet. Like I really try to do my due diligence. I try to like look up YouTube videos, a LinkedIn page if they have a LinkedIn page. If they ever interviewed for a magazine or a podcast, I try to find out, what year they was born, where they went to school, and I try to find out like all about their past, so I can walk you through their entire journey of becoming a business owner. And I think that type of information is really important to give the listening audience like full context of, the person that I'm highlighting. But as I said, like a lot of that information isn't always readily available, so this is why this edition is super light. It's really kind of basic, but it still provides a positive frame of reference about business ownership. So like I said, today is July 27th, or when I share it back on the social will be the 28th, because I started recording really late, and actually I forgot to hit the record button when I started talking, so yeah, I was like 20 minutes in before I realized I hadn't hit the record button yet. But anyway, it is July 27th, and nationally recognized holiday is National Chicken Finger Day. Yes, Chicken Finger Day is a whole thing. Now, back when I did eat meat, like chicken fingers wasn't never my thing. Or chicken tender. Yeah, it's Chicken Tender Day. No, it's chicken finger, my bad. To me, they're both the same because you got tenders and fingers. I'm guessing a finger is a tender. I never got it because there ain't nothing tender about the finger. I don't know. I ain't gonna stunt and act like, chicken wasn't my go-to meal when I was eating meat, and yes, I did eat it fried. But anyway, in commemoration with National Chicken Finger Day, I'm going to be highlighting the business that specializes in the production of chicken fingers. So today, on the highlight section of the Narrator podcast, I'll be highlighting Hotville Chicken. It was established in approximately the year 2000 by one Mrs. Kimberly Prince. She's carrying on the legacy of her uncle by the name of Thornton Prince. If the name sounds familiar, it should. It's supposed to be, he's supposed to be the creator of the Nashville hot style of chicken. He's from Nashville, Tennessee, and as legend goes, he was dealing with a jilted lover, and the woman he was dating at the time, to get even with him, gave him she hooked this chicken up, in a bad way. She made it super duper spicy, but it was super duper flavorful. So, she was angry and upset at him, so she gave him, she tried to make the chicken so hot it was undigestible, but, to each their own. If you like Nashville hot chicken, allegedly that's how the, how the legend goes about how, Nashville hot came to be. And so generations has passed. That was in the 1930s, I believe. And it stayed in the Price family for years, and it got passed down to Kim Price, and she lives out in South Central Los Angeles, and she put her own spin on the family recipe that got passed down to her, and she started doing pop-ups, and eventually got her own brick and mortar. She definitely hires her own, employs her own, gives back to the community. That's why I'm highlighting her in the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast. There's not too much on her bio. She's done a few interviews here and there, and I've really just told about her trials and tribulations as being a sister, a woman, a melanated woman, how she's been discriminated against, and almost just giving up on her dream of, owning her own business, despite having, a legendary recipe. But other than that, that's basically the legend of how Nashville hot came to be. And she's carrying on the legacy. If you want to know more, you can ask her questions at hotvillechicken@gmail.com. Or if you're in Los Angeles, if you're in the state of California, you can go over to the physical location at trying to find it, 4841 Crenshaw Boulevard, and then the email address obviously is hallziespoetrycorner.com, and that'll do her. So let's put them together. Join me into giving our sister Kim Price a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for carrying on her family legacy of Nashville Hots at her business called Hotville Chicken. All right, man. Before moving on to the next section, I just gotta send just kind of tip my hat to the legendary entertainer, rapper, actor extraordinaire, Mr. Snoop Doggy Dogg, Snoop Dogg, Snoop Lion, whatever moniker that you prefer to refer to him as, or you know, being the torch runner at the Paris Olympics held in Paris this year. So yeah, man, Snoop Dogg, man, he did his thing, man. Yeah, that's monumental. Somebody coming from where he came from to do that. Like regardless of how you politically feel about the the Olympic Games, that's still a pretty positive achievement. But anyway, on to the next section of the Narrative Podcast. This section is called the Spotlight section, and when this section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting individuals within our community to do extraordinary, positive, impactful things for our community. When I started this section, Spotlight section, I initially started spotlighting celebrities, but since then I kind of had a change of heart. Kind of just want to back away from spotlighting celebrities, not because I don't believe they need to be, congratulated and spotlighted, but because I wanted to kind of break the negative stereotype, which is basically what the Narrative Podcast is all about, breaking these negative stigmas and stereotypes about our people and these false perceptions about our people. The false perception being that all we know how to do is entertain. So I've been lately spotlighting just regular people doing extraordinary things. The purpose of the spotlight section is basically to put out the positive idea in the atmosphere about uplifting and edifying your brother and sister online, rather than trying to tear them down. So just basically, I'm creating a way for celebrating a brother or sister's accomplishments and cheering them on, and giving them that good old pat on the back for whatever positive thing that they're doing. Because unfortunately, it's like a really lucrative business for faceless corporations to have us at odds with one another online, trading insults and dragging each other through the mud. Like a whole lot of faceless corporations benefit financially from that immensely, and it's kind of incentivized by these faceless corporations to fuel the beef, to keep it going, and they go through like tremendous lengths these days. They use AI and these chat bots and all that to stir up all this havoc and confusion in our community online, and have us, at odds with one another, and really ready to take it to the next level. But yeah. So the reason why I did the spotlight section is just to put out positivity in the atmosphere and show you can be prosperous by being positive online. You don't have to follow, air quotes, the trend, which is basically to talk reckless and talk out the side of your neck about another brother or sister online. You can just give them kudos and applaud their success, and and just don't play the game. And that's what they want us all to do. They want us all to play the game They want us to believe the only way you can get, like, air quotes, viral success online is to be negative. But yeah, so that's what I'm attempting to do in the spotlight section, just to put positivity in the atmosphere and inspire everybody else that listens to it to, also receive your brother and sister in a positive way, and celebrate their achievements, celebrate their accomplishments, and also, to reinforce the super age-old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Like, I don't think that ever goes out of style. You can always say no comment, or just, there's all kind of ways to deflect it. I'm not saying we all have to like each other and pretend, if you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. That's just human nature. Like, whatever race or ethnicity or background you are, just everybody ain't everybody's cup of tea. But you don't have to, speak openly and speak candidly on your dislike of another brother or sister. Because when you do, that opens the door for, people that don't look like us, that don't like all of us anyway, to say something. But anyway, that's basically why I do the spotlight section, is just basically to uplift and edify our people, and to showcase and highlight that it's okay to, congratulate somebody. Yeah, and then lastly, before diving into the spotlight, I just got to put this has become a stamp now. Not for nothing, I started, the trend, the wave for spotlighting. Because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. But ever since I put a spotlight section on my podcast, now everybody's spotlighting. Everybody that does interviews, that has guests, that does interviews, I'm spotlighting this, I'm spotlighting this person and XYZ and yada yada yada. Nobody was spotlighting anyone or anything. Now it's even extended to, like, products and services. Like, this week the spotlight's on this brand, this service. But yeah. The internet makes the world small. The internet could be a very powerful tool. But I've come to realize how impactful I am. I don't even have a visual platform, and it's just really evident, like, a whole lot of super famous people and listen to me. Somehow it just gets out. My little insignificant podcast reaches their ears, and they like what they hear because they incorporate my content into their content. Not just what I'm saying, but the way I say what I'm saying. Like, all my nuances get incorporated into their content somehow. So it's a whole lot of famous people that just give me a little wink, wink, wink. Keep it up, wink, wink, wink. Without just coming flat out and saying my name and supporting the podcast. But I ain't in it for the glory. I'm in it for the people. If I was in it for the glory and the money, I'd have quit a long time ago. But yeah. I know I'm influencing and impacting a whole lot of people in a positive way, causing ripples out here. Don't believe the stats. Never believe the stats. I know who messes with me. And I just wanted to say to all them, like super highly influential people. I love you. You know, thanks for listening. I love you. I love y'all too. So, you know, it's lining up pretty soon. Like it's all relative. It's all coming full circle. But yeah, so I'm definitely changing the narrative with the concept of spotlighting.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. All right, so without any further ado, the spotlight section, or the spotlight on this weekend edition of the Narrative Podcast goes to a Mr. Dion Dawson of Chicago, Illinois. So Dion is a ex-military vet. He served in the United States Navy. He's also a philanthropist. An activist or advocate for you know, food advocate for like whatever like charity that it is, like, you know, don't want to see anybody hungry. So, you know, his story is kind of, you know, it's a story we heard before. You know, he's from the land and he grew up seeing it all, you know, the drug using, the drug dealing, like super. If you've been to Chicago or know people from Chicago, then you already know it's like super grimy. So we done seen it all: the drug dealing, the drug using, the gang culture. You know, he grew up in poverty, and at one point of time he was even homeless. Ended up going to the military. Now, the reason why I'm highlighting him is because he started his own nonprofit organization to combat hunger, and it was sparked with the untimely unaliving of our brother George Floyd. That sparked something in him. He wanted to like do something to uplift the community, and the place he was staying at the time was the Inglewood neighborhood in Illinois. And so what he wanted to do, his goal was to feed 100 people a week. To start out with 100 people a week. At the time he was working at the Amazon warehouse. So he's basically like feeding people out of his own pocket, putting his own needs to the side, and feeding the people, because that part of Illinois was basically a food desert. They didn't have access to, you know, clean, fresh food, like clean, organic fruits and veggies and stuff to keep you healthy. And, you know, if we're going to be real about it, like the root cause of most violence in the inner cities is due to improper diet. And again, that's kind of a systemic plot, because like in the hood you will see a whole lot of fast food restaurants, you know, hydrogenated oils, refined sugars, stuff that's super bad for you. And then you have, you know, these convenience stores / liquor stores. Some of the liquor stores sell like, you know, bad food too. The ones that do have food, they sell like super duper food, bad greasy food that it kill you. Um, you know, and then the other ones, the other convenience stores that sell you the product that's out of date, like on the verge of spoilage. And then the rest is covered. The rest of the property, in, in the hood is just like liquor stores. So you got unhealthy food and liquor. So he saw that and was like, I got to get clean food out to my people, and he did something about it. He created this nonprofit organization, and basically it's like just a mobile food bank, basically. So he has three modes in which he gives back to the people. You got like a vault with clean produce in it, like an actual, under lock. And then they can like go get the food. And then you got like on certain blocks, there's certain ice box, a cooler full of food. And then he also has his own like a Meals on Wheels type deal that does like healthy, clean meal prep, like already put together food that's extremely nutritious. So more about his nonprofit organization is called Dion Chicago Dream, and you can go to DionChicagoDream.com to find out more about what the program is all about, what type of services they provide. His mission statement is to provide financial, physical, and emotional stability to the community. He has the Dream Vault and the Dream Fridge, and then also provides mobile food services. He advertises. You can find out more about his story on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, or X as it's called now. And when you go to the website, they got a little, a donation button. You can either donate some food or you can donate your time. They always need volunteers. Or you can call at 312-509-4909. And that was this week's Spotlight. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Dion Dawson. All right, next section of the Narrator podcast. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm talking about health and wellness. And the reason I feel, the need to give health and wellness tips is because, unfortunately, my people, original people, are very sick. And we're very sick on so many levels because we're being made sick by the powers that shouldn't be. They are legit putting things in our food, in our water, in our daily use products like dish soap, laundry detergent, toiletries like cologne and perfume and air freshener, and just fabrics, even our clothes, things that will shorten our lifespan. And then like the mental things they're doing, like I already said, they're trying to control our minds with the content, the negative content they're putting out in the music, in movies, in television, in literature, in newspapers and magazines and advertisements, negatively depicting and capturing our images and our likenesses in a negative way, and keep on just basically like trying to trauma condition us on the mental side of it. And then on the spiritual side of it, there's like, we just seen what happened to our sister Sonya Mason. She literally said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And that happened. So there is like some dark demonic energy and stuff out there too for our people. Now it's like dangerous. We're living in dangerous times for everybody, but all the danger is really geared towards our people these days. Like, it's definitely an inherent agenda and a plot to get rid of every last one of us. We are being singled out. We are being targeted. And so what this section is designed to do is basically fortify, ourselves in all the areas that we're being attacked mentally, spiritually, and physically. We're also being attacked financially, but I don't consider myself a financial guru. I really believe health is wealth. Money is important, but health is wealth. Like, you can exhaust finances, but people want to get the bag, but then don't want to take care of their body. Then when you acquire a large bag, you're going to spend most of it going back and forth to the hospital because you ain't taking care of yourself. But anyway, in this section, like I said, I'm giving out health and wellness tips to my people, original people. Now, here's the part where I make a disclaimer. My content is for anybody to like, anybody to follow, anybody to, absorb. Any ethnicity, race, creed, religion, whatever. It's for anybody. But, make no mistake, my target demographic is my people, original people. And I guess I got enough time to break it down what I mean by original people. I refer to our people as original people, melanated, black, Negro, African American, whatever you want to call us. I refer to our people as original people on this platform. And like I said, that's where I usually break it down why. And when I have enough time to walk you through a synopsis of the Narrative Podcast, but I didn't this evening because it was a super late upload. It's technically the Saturday edition, but it'll be shared back on the social on the Sunday. But yeah, so that's why I'm giving health and wellness tips to, just in an effort to fortify my people and help us armor up in all the areas that we're being attacked. And then just one more sidebar I want to give is, I just want to do away with the "we are all one" rhetoric, because we're not all one. So if you're religious, you believe in God or Jesus or Allah or Buddha or the higher power, vibrational frequency, or whatever you call yourself believing in, you know, most people tend to believe that we are all one. You know, we're all one, but we're not all one. We're all separate. We're all unique. You know, variety is the spice of life. And unfortunately, we all belong to groups. And all our groups are different. We all have different perspectives. We all have different viewpoints. We all have, believe it or not, you know, on the physical side of it, we all have a different, unique genetic makeup. We're made of different substances. So therefore, you know, different things sustain us differently, like different dietetic needs. So like what will nourish one race to keep them sustained, they can eat a certain food and they can live till they're well over 100 eating that diet. But if I ate another person's diet that don't look like me, if I ate like them, what they eat in a day, on my second day, I would be experiencing, you know, severe health problems. So we're not all the same is what I'm saying. Spiritually, you know, there's things that resonate with our spirits differently. I mean, for the religious folk, y'all can just go look in churches, look in mosques. They all, you know, praise and worship differently. Like you go to black Christian church and you go to white Christian church, you will see the difference. You can go to, you know, there's even differences in the same, like, groups of people. You go to, there's like different denominations of it. You know, you go to the same one, like maybe go to like two black churches, like two of the same denominations, but you go over to this whatever Baptist, and you go to over to that whatever Baptist, and you will see two different services. I guarantee you, two different styles. Mosques, you got all types of different people that worship Islam differently. You got the Shiite Muslim, you got the Sunni Muslim, Hebrew Jewish, you got Hasidic Jews, you got Ashkenazis, you got, it's different. It's we're all different. So I'm not a follower of the we're all one thing. Like certain groups of us are all one, like our people. When I say original people, we're one, but us being one, we still are diverse in our oneness. You see? So that's all I'm saying, is I'm accommodating original people. Anyway, today's health and wellness tip is, believe it or not, it's something super simple and something that really, it gets discouraged in our community. It gets discouraged, like, especially everything that's going on in our community right now. It's really hard to do this thing. It's really difficult. It's something so simple but gets taken from us so easily. It's smiling. We don't do enough of that in our community. But the health benefits from it are so life-giving, so life-affirming. We gotta, as our people, we gotta, you know, we got the old saying, we gotta laugh to keep from crying. And when you smile, you're increasing your life. So I'm going to be telling you the health benefits of smiling this week. So, Smiling comes with a whole lot of benefits. Um, it helps you live longer. It increases your mood. Um, it relieves stress. Stress can destroy cells in your body. And then stress also makes you anxious. And when you get anxious, you know, if you get too anxious, you can have a heart attack. You know, stress also makes you painful. Like you retain like pain in your joints when you're stressed out all the time. It also improves heart health. It increases blood flow through your body the more you smile. Smiling lowers stress hormones. The main stress hormones are adrenaline and cortisol. All those can be reduced quickly through a smile. Smiling can help you reduce blood pressure. So apparently you got something in your brain called neuropeptides. And when the peptides are released, they release a pheromone basically in your brain. We like typically call them happy chemicals or endorphins or serotonin. Serotonin is good for sleep, so the more you smile, the better you sleep. And then it also helps to rewire your brain and increases your neural path because it helps grow and stimulate brain stems and brain activity. So new brain cells every time you smile. When you're smiling, like the synapses in your brains, your neurons are firing at quicker rates. So that means like more reflexes. Your reflexes will become better. Your equilibrium will become better. And it's so simple, but like I said, we get robbed of that so much because there's so much going on in our neighborhood, so much to, you know, discourage us from smiling. Back in slave times, we wasn't allowed to smile. We wasn't allowed to laugh either. You know, if they caught us smiling and laughing, whipped, beaten, or worse. So, you know, health and wellness tip of this week is smile. Oh, I guess I did forget to tell you the types of tips I give on here. So, like, you know, usually it's like physical benefits, you know, the health benefits of a food that can help you, like a fruit, vegetable, herb, extract, elixir, root, or a vegetable that you can ingest or apply topically to improve your total body health, or a physical exercise you can perform to improve your health. On the mental side of it, how to create environments that will improve your mental well-being. On the spiritual side of it, you know, walk you through all type of spiritual practices, and you know, make you more spiritually attuned, and how to become more, or give you tips on how to become more spiritually attuned, get in touch with your spirit, and navigate in the spiritual plane, and all that type of good stuff. As well as knowing when you're being spiritually attacked and how to guard against spiritual attacks. And then, I think I said mentally, physically, spiritually. Yeah, those are the types of tips I give in the health and wellness section. So today obviously was, I would say smiling is more on the, it's two of them actually when you think about it. It's like mentally and physically, because you need your face muscles to smile, but then also you get like mental health benefits from smiling. So it's three really, because then on the spiritual side of it too, you know, that creates something like, spiritual. So health and wellness tip today is smile. Smiles are free. It don't cost nothing to smile. All right, next section here on the Narrator podcast is called My Speaking Point. And in the speaking point, what I'm usually covering is like, current topics of the day, whether something's national, something going on nationally, something going on globally, or something going on just within our community. And the purpose of me doing that is me controlling the narrative. Because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this: if you don't tell your own story will be told for you. So this is me telling our story from our perspective on our own terms and conditions about, whatever is going on in the world. Because like I said, the media has an agenda that they'll go out of their way to have us looking and sounding crazy. So today I'm not really talking about current events. Well, kind of current events. So, as election season is closing in, our people, we need so much, and neither candidate has any tangibles for us. None. Neither one of them's talking about reparations for our people. So it's just like we don't have a dog in that fight. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try and we shouldn't press and, like we're not worth it. But I would say as an American people, everybody, like I said, I'm really kind of not really feeling the we are one thing. But I would say the only place where the we are one is like applies is like the human beings. Like we're all physical beings. We all have the same needs physically. I mean, like essentially. The essentials: food, water, shelter. We all need that as physical beings. So while we're divided as a nation, all our ideals, belief systems, values, the way we interpret and perceive life, all that's different. But I'm speaking like for us residing here in the United States of America. Don't matter what you are, Republican, Democrat, Independent Party, conservative, liberal, red, left, blue, whatever. Whoever wins, can we all, as a people, as a nation, if we can't get nothing else, if we can't get anything else from our leaders, can we get this one thing? Can we get them to stop poisoning our food? I mean, we all gotta eat. We all gotta eat. Why ain't it embarrassing for us Americans right now? Whether you're a Chinese American, Italian American, African American, whatever American you are, like if you're residing here in the United States of America, we should be embarrassed right now. Like no other foreign nation wants our food. They don't want our produce. They don't want our meat. They don't want our processed food because it's the most toxic food in the world. Like, that's embarrassing. Our leaders ain't embarrassed. Like, we have the most toxic food in the world. And then I think China's next. Because they're actually manufacturing, like, fake foods and stuff, fake produce, and that manufacturing plastic, I don't even know. But like all the dyes, all the chemicals they put in the food, like why can't we get some clean food? We used to have clean food. Why can't we have clean food anymore? All the leaders, like if we can't get nothing else with this new term, can we, as a united front, can we get some stuff that won't kill us? Can we stay united in at least that? And we can go back to hating each other later, after we get our second win. We can go back to fighting each other later. But I think we're all pretty much getting alive at the same rate. For those that still eating at QSR restaurants. I stopped a long time ago, but that's embarrassing, bro. We got the most toxic food in the world. We got the most toxic diet in the world. None of our food is healthy. Even the healthy food's not healthy here in America. That's sad. That's sad that you gotta, we're at the point where if you're not preparing your own food with your own hands, you don't know what's in it. If you're not growing it in the garden yourself, if you don't have your own, livestock, and slaughter your own animals if you eat meat, and have your own stream, your own pond, for fish, if you eat fish, and make your own, dairy products, have your own eggs and own cheese, 99.9, you're getting poisoned. Our food is poison. So can all the leaders get together, huddle up, do something, and start pressing these corporations and say, hey, stop poisoning us? Can we do that? Can we do that? The monies are slowly losing its value. Our currency slowly loses its value. Our topsoil is getting eroded. Can we get a decent meal before you know, before we have to like transition out of this physical plane, can we get some decent meals around here? That's sad that our food is the most toxic on the planet. It wasn't really like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just my only point I really had this evening or this morning when I share it back on the social. Um, it was just really more of an observance rather than a commentary. Like, yo, are we talking about Democrat, Republican, and this issue and that issue? Like, yo, we all got to eat. Has anybody just like grasped that yet, that we all got to eat? No matter what diet you follow, keto, vegan, lacto vegan, paleo, pescatarian, if you intermittent fast, if you dry fast, like eventually we all got to eat, bro. Why when we eat, we're going to like, there's a good 99% chance we're getting poisoned. Or the stuff that we're eating is like genetically modifying ourselves. That's crazy. But that's really all I have for my speaking point. Like, just marinate on that. I don't have the answer, but like, can we get an answer as a people, if we're going to live in this country? Can we get that going on at least? All right, and now, final section of the Narrator Podcast, weekend edition, is my wise word of the day. And my wise word of the day is just, a philosophical thoughts, just designed to have you ponder, to inspire critical thinking, and just, spark reflection. And today's wise word of the day is live. A lot of us are alive, but a lot of us ain't living. So are you living or are you existing? To live is to do what you want to do when you want to do it. To live is to be passionate about whatever you're doing. That's living. Living's not being fearful. Living's not clinging on to ideals, people. Living is, embracing oneness, embracing yourself. Basically doing what you want to do when you want to do it, not seeking approval from anybody, because you ain't going to get approval from everybody anyway, so you might as well just do what you want to do. Basically what I'm saying, like, if you ain't loving yourself, you ain't living. When you think about it. Because, like, you can acquire, like, matter of fact, like most extremely wealthy people, they're not really living. They're doing stuff, but they're not actually living. Like, they're not living life. They're living a sad life. It looks good from the outside looking in, but they're always most likely by themselves. When they're around other people with money, then it turns into a competition, like who got more money. And then this plastic, fake, frozen smiles when they're around each other. Then when they let people around them that don't have as much as they have, then that's awkward. Because then it turns into an entitlement thing. You know, they make you feel bad for having. But, you know, like, are you living? Are you passionate about what you're doing? Do you love what you're doing? Do you love yourself? Are you living? You can just kind of look at some people and see that, like, the decaying spirit inside of them. And just know they're a hollow shell. They're not alive. They're alive, but they're not living. So, wise word of the day, live. And I'm definitely living. And then I'm drawing you guys into my circle. You're listening to my content, and that's going to elevate your life, and you're going to be living. And we all going to live, we're going to thrive, we're going to prosper, we're going to change the narrative. So that's it, and that's all. This is a wrap for this weekend edition of the Narrator Podcast. Join me next weekend for another full edition. The goal is Saturday always, but, you know, if it's Sunday, it's Sunday, but, you know, it doesn't matter how you get the message as long as you get the message. Did you get the message? If not, we can try it again. So like I said, join me next weekend for another full edition of the Narrator Podcast. Until the meantime, continue to listen to the Narrator Podcast wherever each podcast references or sources from, because I upload during the weekday. I do random uploads. I never know what days I'm gonna have available to broadcast during the week. So, you know, just keep your ears tuned down to podcast land, and be ready to receive a weekday episode of the Narrator Podcast. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast wherever you get your podcast information from. The best ways to stay connected with the Narrator Podcast is to follow me on YouTube or X. And the reason why you want to do that, because this source that I'm broadcasting on automatically uploads my episodes as soon as I'm done recording. So follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Notification button all. I don't have an exclusive Narrator Podcast page. You want to follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen. That's my viewer page. Then you want to head on over into, you know, my videos, and you will see every single last one of the episodes of the Narrator Podcast that has ever aired. And, you know, you can go through all of those, as well as be notified for the latest edition, the latest episode of the Narrator Podcast. So like I said, subscribe to my channel, click your notification button all, or head on over to X. And X is probably better than YouTube, because you'll be able to do all the functions. You'll be able to download the episode. You'll be able to like the episode. You'll be able to leave me a comment. For the love of God, leave a comment. Give me some feedback. Talk to me, people, in the comment section. And then click those little 3 bubbles on the side. And then share them back to whatever platform that you like. Yeah, but if you don't do anything else, download, click that download button. It's the little button, the arrow when you click the link to the Narrative Podcast, it's a little button facing down, little downward arrow. Click on that to download the episode. Next order of business, I'm also an author. I've written a book titled The Black Card. And what The Black Card is about, it's an all-comprehensive look at our people as a people in its entirety, a snapshot of our people, if you will. It encompasses all, our lifestyle, what we go through, all the positive things, all the negative things that we experience as a people. If you're an original man or original woman, you will instinctively gravitate towards it and resonate with all the poems featured in the book. There's 30 poems, captivating, exhilarating. You like it'd be calling out to you. It's only available on poetizer.com. And if you're unfamiliar with Poetizer, Poetizer is basically a community for the novice writer, people who have never, written anything professionally. They're just kind of dabbling, hobbyists, basically, a hobbyist community. It appeals to all writers from, all genres of writing, novel writing, essay writing, even journal writing is welcome in the Poetizer community. But the main thing that they promote is poetry. It's in the name, Poetizer. So that's what I did. I wrote a book of poetry. They have a feature that will allow the users to turn their work into books. They have a virtual online bookstore with all the people in that community's work, and you can purchase a book and check it out. So go head on over to poetizer.com, go to their online bookstore and look for my title, The Black Card. Check that out today. It'll make a great coffee table read, a book, a good gift. If you're trying to get into poetry or if you like poetry, it's definitely the book for you. Go check that out today on poetizer.com. And again, the title is The Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. Go get the Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. And last but not least, the last thing I want to promote is my personal poetry blog on blogger.com called hallziespoetrycorner. And what that is basically a collection of some poems that I've culminated over the years that I've been blogging on that site. And it's an eclectic collection of poetry. And the unique thing about all those poems on that blog site is that I spontaneously wrote all of them. And it's crazy because they're so intricate and so detailed and so intentional. Upon reading it, you would be thinking that like I, drafted it and all that. But nope, just like straight up in the spur of the moment and posted it online. I didn't contemplate about the subject matter. I didn't contemplate, what I was going to title each piece. It's just raw kinetic energy. You're guaranteed to resonate with them. Now, my poetry on that blog is kind of for everybody. I have like a dozen or so poems specifically for our community, but the original people community with our issues. But for the most part, it's for everybody. Anybody that likes poetry, can resonate, with a poem on that blog. And the name of my blog is Hallzies Poetry Corner. and the link to it is www.mrhallziesblogs.com. It's on blogger.com, and the way you can support is, once you click the link, hit the little heart-shaped like button, leave me a comment, and then share either the link or poems featured on the blog across all platforms, across all digital media platforms. So go check that out. Halsey's Poetry Corner on blogger.com and www.mrhallziesblogs.com. The tagline for my poetry blog is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one of my poems, you will see that all of them live up to the tagline. Well, like I said, that's it and that's all. We'll be doing this again this weekend for the full edition. Random uploads all week. All the days of the week that I'm available to do an upload. I try to do 3 of them. I want to make my presence more pronounced during the weekday, because the whole purpose of this podcast is to provide positive frames of reference, and we definitely need more during the weekday, because that's when all the negative stuff really happens, is on the weekday. So I want to provide people with an alternative to the negative news. So that's it and that's all. Thank you all for listening. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you to help me on my mission to change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative on my end, one episode at a time, as a narrator, you can change the narrative on your end one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast, signing off. And it's like that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.